Here we are, per request, highly requested even, flying the Heinkel 162. It's the one with the 20 mils. I don't have the one with the 30s, and if you do have it, it's probably gonna be even worse than this thing, because it doesn't, well, it turns relatively well, it just bleeds a lot of speed doing so, and with all of that combined, you don't want slower velocity guns, as these are already relatively slow, well, 790 meters a second, which all in all isn't too bad, but of course you're fighting jets most of the time, which makes it, well, a bit slow. And the guns don't have the most stopping power. Sometimes they do that, and other times you will just get a bunch of hits, as with the F7F in the intro. There's also some hits I cut out of there. As you could see, my ammo count suddenly decreased by quite a bit. It's not because I was missing everything, but I didn't want to ruin the intro and make it even longer than it already was. And especially planes like that thing. The F7F is of course a flying tank, but only the two 151s at 6.3, especially when you get up tiered, are a bit dreadful. And that's what I meant to say with this plane. This is one of the most dreadful planes I have flown in a long while. This is relatively old footage, so it might be that you get more up tiers nowadays to 7.3, 7.0. When I flew it, I think it's about 1.5 months ago, the up tiers weren't as bad. I think I only got one up tier, two up tiers, and I got absolutely focused by F-80As. And there's very little you can do other than wiggle around, roll around their guns. And by the time you finally reverse the F-80, and you already know what's going to happen, F-84 comes in and he just hoses you down. This thing is very fragile, it bleeds a lot of speed, and the acceleration is absolutely piss poor, which is a very good, well, recipe for disaster. And especially planes like that thing, the P-59, I have no idea why that thing is still 5.3. If you want to know how stupid that thing actually is, I suggest you watch my video, I will link it on the top right as well. You want to know how to fly that thing in order to fight it, because it's a very good plane. It's at least 5.7 material, and in my opinion is better than this thing. It's a bit slower, the acceleration is roughly the same, but that thing turns like an absolute UFO. And you will see a lot of these kills in this gameplay where I'm just zooming around, picking off people, going for high priority targets and people that are, well, easy kills to begin with, because this thing is not a carry fighter. Of course you're very fast, and if you don't get up tiered whatsoever, this thing becomes quite deadly, at least with a team, because, well, it's with a lot of these planes that are really fast, but they bleed a lot of speed, and the acceleration is very bad, which makes it very hard to kill people if there's multiple people alive. And you have to pull lead on someone, you bleed like 50 kph or even more, and there's a P-51H diving on you. And you can see why that might be a problem. This thing is fast in a straight line, but people will still dive with you, especially super props like the Mark 24, the P-51H. A-2Ds are an absolute pain in the ass. Of course, they're luckily 7.0 now, and when you get up tiered, well, you can kiss your ass goodbye, because you're not gonna do a lot on this thing. And I wonder why so many people requested this plane, because it's genuinely really boring to fly. Like, you just have to maintain your speed, you have to stay fast, and even just now that engagement with the F4U7, I'm trying really hard to keep my speed here. But you saw the moment I tried to pull lead on the guy, I just lost so much speed, and it doesn't come back at all. Of course I'm accelerating a little bit faster than normal because I'm in a slight dive, but the moment I level out, as you see here, the acceleration isn't very fast. It's not all more depressing really. When you're going as fast as I am right now, I'm going 650 kph, you do out accelerate the props, because props don't really go faster than 650. Some do, most don't. But when you go as fast as I am right now, you out accelerate them just simply because they cannot out accelerate after going 650. And that's the only type of out accelerating you're going to do, maybe in a dive. Your defensive flying is very good. The problem, however, is that you lose so much energy doing so, that if he throttle drops you, and he will drop more speed than you, because he's a prop, and when he does that, he will outturn you, he will out accelerate you, he will out energy you to begin with, and he will just have all the cards in his hand. If they of course keep wepping, and you throttle down a little bit and you start rolling around, because again the defensive flying of this thing is very strong. This is of course in a last ditch effort to reverse someone, because in general you just want to outrun people. And if you cannot outrun them, in some cases you can outturn them, but you don't want them to start on your ass. And if you start on someone else's ass, it's kind of the same thing, because you actually pull quite well, believe it or not. This thing turns relatively, well, it turns actually pretty well, and it loses a lot of energy. And if you get something like that on your ass, well, it's kind of hard to shake something that turns well. bleeds energy, so it's hard to reverse you in return. The only problem is your sustain turn is absolute doo-doo, and so if they just do a flat turn, if they do a horizontal, and you try to stick with it, you're dead. You're just gonna die. If you try to go vertical with them, you're gonna stall out before they do. If you try to turn just in a flat turn, they will outturn you. And all your turn rate goes into your speed bleed. So again, you can't turn quite well. You just don't want to do it, because you lose so much energy that is not worth your time. And in general, again, this plane, as you can see right now, I am just trying to stay fast. And I'm climbing at the shallow angles in case someone dives on me, that I can actually have some dive acceleration to get away. That's in general. I'm saying that word a lot now, aren't I? Because this plane is so goddamn boring. In general, because of course you do have some fun moments. But whenever you try to outrun someone, of course you're very small. You roll really well, and you are relatively fast. At least in the down tiers. In the up tiers, especially against stuff like Kikas and all that kind of garbage, if you actually get mixed, you're toast. And I'm sounding like a broken record, but there's not much more to say, and I really want to emphasize on the fact, because I know that some people just scroll through it. I know who you are, and I know that there are people that watch like 3 minutes of the video, so it might not really be emphasized. So there you have it. That's basically this plane in a nutshell. You want to prey on people that aren't paying attention, you want to play on low props, and people that don't climb. And of course you want to keep your teammates clear, just like here. I knew I was going to roll over and he's going to go right back to a knife friendly. So I was just waiting for him to pull into it. I can try to lead him and roll all about, but I just predicted his path, which is straight down, because he was dogfighting the guy. Forgot what it was, but my blue teammate that I just kind of saved, I think, I'm not sure, well, I helped him out, that guy. I knew he was going to go for him, the F out of 190. I knew he was going to need help. I knew that the Spitfire was completely fixated on killing him, so I could just wait below his path and he would pull right into it. And he did. Of course, if he had paid attention to me, and he would roll the other way and just pull up, then I would have missed a shot. Because, well, I can't roll over and pull into him like that. Luckily, most people don't really do that. And now, it's just a matter of flying around yet again. I'm gonna speed this up because it took quite a while actually. I'm looking for the last guy. I'm hawking for that ace because someone told me to get one in this plane. I only have 30 kills, or roughly 30 kills in this thing, and I just do not enjoy flying it. Of course, this is about the best representation you're going to get from me. I don't want to fly this thing again. It's very boring. And the thing that makes it so boring is that it's actually potent enough to be good, but it's so annoying to fly that if you don't fly it that exact specific way, you're going to get your ass clapped. So yeah, I don't enjoy that. I don't like these very one-dimensional planes, literally, because if you try to go up in this thing, you can go one dimension, that's horizontal, and if you deviate from that, even horizontal turn, you can go straight. You can basically pretend you don't have control surfaces, and then maybe you will do well in it. Right now I'm going 750, which is why I decided to spike the Tempest. He probably didn't notice me, and he's going very slow, relatively easy shot, and I get a load of hits. Very cool, thank you very much. Barely used any ammo this game, but now I have to all use it on the Tempest that's trying to dive back to his airfield. Or at least so I thought, because he tries to go back up. And you can tell that when I'm trying to dive and when I'm like in these kind of scenarios, that this thing, it doesn't bleed that much speed, the dive acceleration is pretty good. So that's a nice compensation, I guess. Set him on fire, he's gonna burn up. There he goes, into the ground he goes. Poof. And that's game. If you wonder about the skin, by the way, it's the skin you can unlock by getting about, 200 kills I think, I'm not too sure, I didn't look at it. I bought it with GE because there's no way in fuck that I'm flying this thing for that many games. Hope you enjoyed me suffer, but not in the way you were probably intending me to suffer. The B-29 is gonna climb the space, and he's just gonna die. So I'm just gonna cut to the result screen to say the usual, which is I don't have premium and I'm not researching anything, so it's not very accurate. I will be starting on the Hunter FGA9 relatively soon here, so look forward to that. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will be wishing you a very nice weekend.